All right. In today's video, we're doing a breakdown of Bungie's biggest problem currently with Destiny 2, what they are lacking the most, and it's player retention, actually. And we'll get into that in just a moment, but we need to cover that they've missed their sales goal by 45%, and that's why they had to lay off 100 employees. And it wasn't actually because of Lightfall not selling well, particularly. It's obviously there's multifaceted, but it wasn't just the sales specifically of Lightfall. A lot of people bought Lightfall, a ton of people actually. It met their goal just fine there, but the problem has come post Lightfall, which has been player retention. Destiny 2 has had its poorest player retention in a very long time, which is a huge issue. In fact, it's one of the most alarming issues when it comes to a game like this, because historically that's been the only saving grace, that's been the only silver lining of the Destiny 2 franchise. If it didn't have remarkable player retention, this game would have died probably in year 3 of D1, and we would have never heard of it. It would have just been a thing of the past. We would have appreciated it for its few years that it lasted, and there would have never been a Destiny 2. But it's entirely because of that player retention that we continuously get new seasons, new expansions, new years, and so on and so forth, because people played this game on average more than 99% of other games. And I got confirmation from this from Activision a long time ago. Back in the day, I've mentioned this story a few times, but they said that people play Destiny 2, like the hours that people put in it, it's crazy. And that's like the phenomenon of Destiny 2 within the gaming space, is that so many people play this game, or so few people play this game, but they play it for so long that it kind of makes up for the lack of player base, right? It makes up for the lack of numbers. When you look at the Steam charts of sales, when you look at the Steam charts of really any metric, you are not impressed by Destiny 2 if you're a publisher or if you're someone that's financially invested in the game or anything like that. But it's when you look at the player retention chart that you're like, wow, your mind is blown. You're like, I cannot believe that people play this game this much. How do you guys do this? That's kind of the magic of Bungie. And obviously a lot of other people have been capitalizing on that because they, basically account that to being the live service model, right? And now with so many other games acquiring the live service model, it's not a unique thing or something that just Bungie can do really well. Everyone's got good live service games now, so now Bungie has to evolve beyond this. They've been sort of crippled by their success in some degree. They've just been living off of the success of the live service model, and they need to evolve further and actually make it much better. They need to make the game a lot better in order to keep retention. And this is why this is actually a really, really scary thing, because like any industry or any business, if you've been involved in business or understand how businesses work, with time, with the success of one business, others will figure out your success, mimic it to some degree, and then you have to compete with all of them. Destiny wasn't competing with as many live service games back in the day, and now we just see more and more and more and more. And 2023 has been an incredible year for gaming in general. There's been so many good games that have come out. It's just getting really, really competitive, and Bungie's retention has gotten lower and lower. So their decisions with Lightfall have been poor, coupled with the competition, and so they need to fix retention. In today's video, we're going to break down player retention in Destiny 2, at least as I see it. Obviously, I have, 20,000 hours played in this game, so I'm going to be up there, and perhaps, I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm going to say I'm perhaps up there in maybe the top 100 people on the planet that have played this game that much, right? And so my opinion is, in order for Bungie to actually get that player retention, the first and most important thing is challenging activities. They need to give us activities that we are challenged by. Grandmasters back in the day used to be super tough. We would go into a Grandmaster and it would take like 40 minutes with a good team if you could even beat it at that rate. That was super challenging. And then of course, you get loot that was really good. At the time, it was like the best loot in the game. So you're like, cool, I do the craziest activity, it takes the longest, and I get the best loot. So that's the win-win. That's why you had incredibly high player retention during that period of time. Obviously, this is years ago, right? When Grandmasters first came out, maybe the first year, I would say, had incredibly good retention. And it was a very good time for the game at that period of time. And we need to get back to that. We need activities like that. We can't just regurgitate old things either. We can't just copy and paste old things that have been thrown in the DCV or old raids from Destiny 1 and say, here you go, pump in 1,000+ hours this season on this, old activity. We need new things. We need some innovation as well. We can sprinkle some things from the DCV, to be fair. We can sprinkle some things in there. I wouldn't mind Leviathan coming back, stuff like that, but we also need new things. We need some innovation. We need some new activities to grind. That's going to be the key component number one that I'm breaking down. And the second one, in my opinion, again, as someone that's played this game quite a bit, you can disagree if you want in the comments. I'll be reading them. And the second thing is that we need weapons and armor that matter more than what matters in the game right now. You can see the weapons I have on right here. I have on a Shayur's Wrath SMG. You know, if next season we come out with another Void SMG that's a 600 RPM that has worse perks and worse stats, why would I grind for that? Why would I grind for that weapon? That doesn't help me or benefit me. And the majority of the player base is going to feel that. You have to continuously come out with better loot every season, season after season, and you can't commit to just one or two weapons pushing that line a little bit more. And I know that the issue with that is power creep. And I've talked about this many times. We've talked about mitigating power creep, how it works in Destiny 2, how Bungie can handle power creep and stuff like that. The bottom line is this, though. You're not going to sell a season without challenging activities, and you're not going to sell a season with high retention, at least. You can sell it like you did with Lightfall. You could sell it to people, but you're not going to get people to get that retention up without a challenging activity. You know, Grandmasters back in the day, you would fail it, you'd die at 30 minutes, you just had to start over again. You got nothing to show for it. That's super challenging, and that was a lot of fun. And I missed that, actually. I personally missed that. Let me know if you missed that, if you played during that period of time, but I missed that. And then we need loot to come with that. We need loot. Now you play Grandmasters, if you even do them at all, and you get a weapon that's subpar. You already have better weapons than like that in your vault, or there's a weapon that you could just craft in 2 minutes that would be better than that. And so it's just uninteresting to do the Grandmaster. You don't want to go in there and sweat it out. And it's not even half as sweaty as it was back in the day. You could beat it in like 10 minutes now, 15 minutes, right? Even with an LFG team. And those are the issues. Those are some of the biggest issues that I think, in my opinion. And obviously there are many more things. And I know we could sit here and I could make an exhaustive video. I could talk for hours and hours and hours about all the different things that I have previously enjoyed and the things that gave me high levels of retention. And I know that my experience is a little bit anecdotal because I like certain elements of the game that others don't. Some of you out there watching this, you might really like Gambit, and I don't like Gambit. And I don't think that if Bungie invested any time in it, that would help with player retention. At least it wouldn't help with my retention, right? But it might help with some of your retention out there. So I'm not going to say that this is, objective and that if Bungie does this, it will guaranteed fix everything, because that's not entirely the case, in my opinion. I don't think that's exactly how it would work. But what I do think is that these are the two big things that, at least in my experience and in the experience of all my friends, my clan and everything, this is what have gotten people to play the game with a high level of retention. And I think that you'll notice that if you get the real OGs, the people that were around in the beginning, the grinders to play and grind this game, that it's going to be much easier to have the more casual players follow suit. They'll follow us, they'll follow the more hardcore players if you can get the hardcore players to grind. So let me know your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, smash the like button. I love talking about all the different topics of Destiny 2. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.